YouTube, it is Lucy. First thing, my voice. It's getting better. Well, it sounds better, but it's not getting better, and I'll come back to that here in a second. There's a lot to update on. It's been a full week. I'm hoping with the breathing issues that I can get through this without starting and stopping too many times, because we're on a tight schedule and actually I need to leave soon. We have church. I drive a passenger van. It's the only thing you can drive with this many kids and car seats. There's multiple rows, you know. You got your driver row, and you have all the rows that come after, depending whether you have a 12 or a 15 passenger van. There's a lot of rows, okay? Kids can't hear me. There's a lot of like knocking on the van window and trying to, you know, do a little bit of sign language of like no and yes, and just like the basic things. We are trying to do what we can with the circumstances that they are. Did get disability parking. I either can talk and not breathe, either I can breathe and not talk. I feel lucky. My doctors were able to do that, and I was approved for that because that allows me to actually be able to drive now. I can drive my kids and go do things and have a life. Before, I couldn't turn my head and drive safely, but now I have almost all of my range of motion. I can't look up. It's all still very, very tight. I couldn't do any of this before. I can finally do that. So between that and having the handicap parking, I can get my kids from point A to point B out of the vehicle and into a store without losing my breath and feeling like I'm gonna pass out or getting all tingly. I'm happy that I have that, and it does help tremendously. I did get disability for school, and that helps with, you know, trying to do all these appointments and making sure that my work is turned in on time. I get a couple extra days leeway, and that's all I needed. I haven't had to utilize it yet. I do need it, I have it, and that makes me feel so much better and a lot less anxious. I'm also not able to work because I need a voice to be able to do my job safely. Down to one income, and that's a whole other boat. GoFundMe has been huge with helping. I didn't know what our needs were when I initially set it up. So I set it up for $4,500. Very thankful that we got $4,700, but when you go to withdraw it, it's actually $4,601. $395, if I'm not mistaken, was donated through Venmo. All of that is spent. The amount of bills is ridiculous at this point. Not technically spent, because even though I tried to pull GoFundMe, it doesn't go through until February the 16th. Even though it's spent and we don't have it, it's spent. The moment it comes through, it's gone. Every single one of those dollars is gone. It is insane. Anticipate Joel really needing 2 weeks off work, and that accumulated for the majority of it. We did pay a lot of the bills ahead of time. It's just so much with me not working and him having those 2 weeks off. And then there's a lot of like nickel and diming between x-rays and meds. For anybody who's going down this path, whatever you think it's gonna cost you, it's gonna be way more than that, because there's gonna be so many extra things that you will have never thought about that's gonna pop up. I did splurge on the sunscreen, and I did buy this shirt. It says "One Strong Mother," and for those who are not aware, this ribbon is the thyroid cancer ribbon. These are the colors. I had this custom made, and it was $16. So these are my two splurges. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, yeah, shouldn't have bought the shirt then. And you're probably right. I can't say that I probably shouldn't have, because I probably shouldn't have, but I did it, and I did it for my mental health. I am feeling better physically, minus the breathing. It takes a toll on you. It takes a really big toll. For me, it's mental health. It's 100% mental health. I've had nothing but appointments, and even though I'm doing pretty good physically, I've got a whole host of issues that I'll explain, one of which is this, and my calcium and magnesium and potassium and iron. The list is endless, y'all. Going into these appointments and dealing with, there's no polite way to say it, my asshole of an endocrinologist.
A lot of those things, I'm not going to entertain any of that.
Okay.
I want to be very upfront and clear about it.
Okay.
So if that's the route you want to take, I'm not the right doctor.
Okay.
Okay? So please think about that.
endocrinologist, I hope he comes across it. You're an asshole. You are a God complex in every aspect asshole. I can't stand the man. And that's a video for a whole other day. But going and seeing some of these doctors really takes a toll on you. Long story short, if you ask a question because you don't know, because I don't specialize in this, don't ask that question. I didn't go to school for 7 years for you to, I'm not allowed to ask a question. Well, if you think that this is the route, then you need to go somewhere else and I'm not the right doctor for you. Well, you know what? You're not. Screw you. You're not the right doctor. If I can't ask questions and you're asking me to blindly trust you 100%, you're right. You're not the right doctor for me. Not at all. I had that appointment today and they still want me to do radiation because, you know, it's like in my lymph nodes or whatever. I paid for my medical records. There was a few, and I'm not going to get into it for legal reasons, but there were a few things that kind of made you go, and just, it's depleting. It's depleting emotionally going into these places. So having this as a mental reminder of, you can do this, and it's not always going to go your way, and you may need to find another doctor, and there may be these trials and tribulations and trial time frames, but it's okay. You're going to do it. You'll figure it out because you're a badass, and you have to be, and you do what you got to do. I think the last time I talked to y'all, Oakland would let me hug him. I put a giant band-aid on my face, and I brought him to the zoo, and I distracted him with feeding lettuce, I think it was lettuce, to giraffes. Had him facing, you know, away from me, and he let me hold him while he fed. I don't know if it's just because he was distracted or he couldn't see it, but I cried. I guess that's what I do. I cry all the time now. Happy tears, sad tears, angry tears, emotions. It's everywhere. But he lets me hold him all the time now. And I don't know, even with not having a Band-Aid, he lets me do it now. So, that's been really good for my mental health, being able to snuggle my babies and just, it's been amazing. It's been, I can't describe it. It's been great. Dermatology recommended this as well. This is what I started using today. They did say to do a different one when it's like summer and I'm getting to like the water time sports. Today, about an hour ago, I lost the last little bit of my scab. So you can see what it looks like. There's no more scab on it. It just came off the hole where the drain is. You can see that it's, it's still swollen. I asked about that today. It's getting better. We're getting there. I've been using, while waiting on the scab to come off, is this. Gifted this, so, and it's been great. It's been wonderful. My doctor recommended it. That's been great. Thought about getting like a voice amplifier or a microphone. I just haven't done it. I feel like it makes everything that I'm going through more real. And I know there's a good portion of me that is like lying to myself. Like, oh, it's definitely gonna come back. It's definitely temporary. In reality, I don't know that. I don't know that any of that is true. You know, doing something like that just makes it more real. I don't know that mentally and emotionally I'm ready for that. Spending the money on it when Joel was off work for 2 weeks and having all of these bills, trying to emotionally process what a voice amplifier would mean to me. And I know that sounds weird, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like I said, it just makes it more real. Kind of making do while driving. It's not the best case scenario, but we're adjusting, we're acclimating to what the circumstances are. It's been a bit of a tricky road, but we're doing the best. I mean, we're navigating it. We're figuring it out as we go. Nobody's ever really prepared for this anyways. So we're making it work. And I saw my Swallow Steady person today, and they want me to thicken my liquids because I'm kind of having some issues with, I am having issues with my drinking water. It's the only thing I drink. So they want me to thicken my water, and I'm still having trouble with swallowing, more so now than before. I have to look down. I can't look straight ahead. I can't look up. That sun is in a horrible spot. Look down when I swallow. Not a lot, but just kind of like that. And I have to pull my neck in. I can't just have it where it naturally sits. I have to pull it in. Because it's my right side that's paralyzed, she had me turn to my right and try to swallow, saying that it would kind of like help, or it's supposed to. It didn't. In the hospital that I had midline paralysis, my vocal cords should have been like this, but it just wasn't closing all the way. But the test today, they did a really long test, showed that it's not quite midline. Paramedial, I think is the word she said. Your vocal cords have to close, the way that she explained it to me. And they told me in the hospital it was like this. They told me I couldn't go backwards. Needless to say, my vocal cord's way over here. It's not midline. So it's more of a problem, which explains everything. I've got nerve damage, which they did monitor during surgery. It's a whole other conversation for a later date. Why like all the disability and stuff was approved. Just really affects breathing.
Just getting that closure between your vocal cords, that's the source of your voice. It's a pressurization for your cough. It's your air protection for your swallow. Is just the complete closure between your vocal cords. It didn't improve your airway protection during the swallow greatly, that right head turn, but it could help during the cough. So next time you feel like you need to cough, if you, just turn your head as far as you can over your right shoulder. That could bring them together a little bit more and pressurize your cough. It's worth trying. The quality of your voice should stay the same. You could have trouble like getting higher and lower a little bit, especially like singing, because
I sing like a dying animal.
Okay, well, perfect.
I
then
can't
maybe
sing.
Maybe I'll get better than
all those people that they make fun of on American Idol.
That's you.
No shame.
When we get higher, we lengthen our vocal cords. When we get lower, we shorten them. And if the body of your vocal cords have slightly different densities to each other because they're either sitting at different postures or one of them has been filled or both, then they'll lengthen and shorten at different rates.
Well, it definitely can't get worse. It can only get better.
Perfect.
We're good.
Perfect. Yeah. So the source of your voice is vibration of your vocal cords, which occurs when they can close and the air comes through them.
Okay.
So the dynamics, that's a little bit more complicated. There's nothing wrong with using your voice. Definitely don't do like voice rest, because the best way to encourage that nerve to wake up is just attempting to send the signal through it. You're going to have much faster vocal fatigue because you're working harder to make a voice, so don't push it if it is uncomfortable.
It gets exhausting, but I feel like I can't breathe effectively.
Well, that's because you're going to get winded just from talking, because it's basically like, you're not getting the resistance of phonation. So when you're speaking, you're going to have really short utterances because all your air is coming out. And so you're going to end up kind of almost panting.
Yeah.
So that's what gets you winded from talking.
Okay. I do have a question for you all. I don't know who sent me a food box, but I got two. One from Bunny James and one from another company. It said that there was a gift note on the inside of the box. There was no gift note. I have no idea who to thank, but whoever you are, let me just say it this way. I would not have survived the past couple of days had it not been for you. These boxes have like gluten-free snacks and stuff, and I haven't had much of an appetite due to the swallowing issues and all of that. There's not a whole lot I can eat right now between that and Hashimoto's disease and the calcium and the dairy, and just there's a whole lot that I'm not going to get into. When I have all these appointments and I leave the house at 8 a.m., I'm not getting back until 5 p.m. And you can't really eat on the go with the dietary and swallowing restrictions that I have. I'm trying to share as much of that on Instagram as I can, because maybe there's somebody else out there who's in the same boat I am, and I want to be able to tell you at least my opinion on whether these snacks are good or not. I didn't came across anything I hate. And long story short, I went into surgery with 2 fine arms, and I came out of surgery with not 2 fine arms, and it's only gotten worse. I'm on a bunch of inflammatory meds. I've got an x-ray that I should have done 3 days ago that I haven't had time for. I'm not sleeping due to the pain. And like I said, it's just getting worse. Now they have me in this with pain meds and inflammatory meds until we can get that x-ray and figure out what's going on. I will see the neurologist to figure out nerve-wise what's happening as well. Your update. Until next time, I will see y'all later. And again, a huge thank you for the Moderna and the food and the donations through PayPal and Venmo and GoFundMe. We wouldn't have been able to do any of this without all of y'all. I cannot say thank you enough from the bottom of all of our hearts. It has made every single donation, every $5 to $500 donation has made a huge difference. So thank you from all of us to all of y'all. Until next time, I will see y'all later. Bye, YouTube.